synergies between the two. And so although we didn't get Quiznos, Smashburger was really interested. And so we were actually able to launch the program with them into, at the time, it was about 200 locations. And that was easily our biggest customer location-wise. And it made up probably about 95% of our overall business.
Which is scary, super scary.
Yeah, scary, and it ended up kind of setting us back a little bit. I'll get into why it did. So we actually knew that having a customer that big would just is super challenging.
I mean, you end up in a situation where you're almost like an employee, because if I mean, seriously,
jump how high is pretty much what it was. Absolutely. And so we tried to figure out how we can diversify our portfolio to get them closer to around 20%.
Yes.
And we gave ourselves around a 2 to 3 year window to try and accomplish that.
All right.
We started getting going. We're actually crushing sales like iced tea. We, I think, grew their overall iced tea program by 253%.
Wow.
It was the number there. A big number. And Coke pretty much stepped in. We were starting to cannibalize some of their fountain sales.
I see.
And they did not like that. Pretty much wrote Smashburger a check for $500,000 and said, "You're going to go with our program. We're going to give you some incentives, and you're going to be done with that company." And so It was pretty 30-day window when we lost that. And at the time, they were around 43% of our overall business.
Well, good job on getting it from 90 to 43. At least it wasn't all of your business at the time. I mean, good move on your part to, shift it that quickly.
Yeah, it was good. It was the really challenging part was obviously, I mean, that's a huge amount of revenue to lose essentially in a 30-day window.
Half your business.
Yeah, but the other challenge was we were using that revenue to fund equipment. So we had a bunch of equipment loans to go and get other business. And so the floor dropped out, and that was at the end of 2014. And that was really for me like a look in the mirror. I honestly doubted myself, 300 days out of the year.
Well, now can I, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Can I ask you, had you taken investor cash at that point too, or did you only have bank loans for the equipment? What debt did you have?
Yeah. So at that time, myself and my father had put in all the money at that particular juncture. But the equipment, we did have equipment financing. That was through, there's some kind of, I'm not going to call them hard money lenders, but there's some kind of asset financing options that are out there. It was a good solution for us because we didn't have the business credit built up. And me personally, leveraging credit cards quite a bit on the business didn't put me in a personal good position to take on more bank loans. So we were in really high interest equipment loans. It was dark, man. It was really tough.
Can I ask you, were you married at the time?
I was not, but I was with my girlfriend, now wife, and she's got to see every stage of Pete in these last however many years.
Was it a phone call from Smashburger to you to say, "Hey man, listen, just so you know, in 30 days, you're out"?
It was a call to come to their office to talk about this next year. Hey, I just want to come down, chat, where our plans are for this next year. And, on the surface, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm excited for the next year as well. And then to say, we're not moving forward with you next year, it's like, that is not what I expected.
Damn. Okay. Well, how many employees did you have at the time?
There was only, I think, 5 of us at the time.
Okay.
Mostly on the production side.
Okay. All right. So your overhead wasn't super heavy, but you did have some loans and some debt for equipment. Okay. All right. Yep. So after you went home to your girlfriend at the time and cried for a few days and had a few drinks, then what'd you do?
You know what, when we looked at that situation, I think you realize if you got into the business because you're passionate about it, or you got into it because you thought there was opportunity there, right?
Good one, Pete.
Because, if you think that, oh, well, such and such market is really hot right now, and I think I can provide something unique, when times get tough, you're going to bail. You're just not committed. You're not pot committed at that time. And obviously we were capital committed, but also no, man, I got myself into this because it's something that I'm passionate about. I'm going to figure a way out of this, and I'm not going to let this one opportunity kind of slow us down. So we honestly started going back into old emails from customers. We were like you said, we're kind of employees to Smashburger, sort of. We had a lot of customers that were hitting us up and said, "Hey, I had your tea at Smashburger. I'd love to drink it at home." And it was, a lot of customers throughout the country, just individuals hitting us up. And we thought, if food service is going to be this way, if these big opportunities are going to be controlled by Coke and we don't have the ability to compete at that level, we need to kind of diversify and start targeting more consumers directly. And so we developed a retail product line of our iced teas and launched within Whole Foods. And within that year period, got that revenue back that we had lost.
Really? Oh, wow. Within 12 months, you got it back through Whole Foods. Hey, and were you doing any B2C online at that time, or just going to the big retailers?
Mostly through like the Whole Foods channel. We didn't, and still to this day, I'm learning retail quite a bit. We didn't know too much. There was, some expenses that came with that, but it just proved that we needed to, you need to have that connection with the consumer if you want to kind of control your destiny, right? That's where the value, because they're the ones that are buying it at the store. I mean, obviously our retail relations are crucial, right? They're the conduit for which we can communicate to our customers, but it's ultimately the customers that are going to be going and buying it. And so you got to have that direct connection to them.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.